You're listening to Our Two Satoshis podcast with hosts Justin and Billy from CryptoBiz.com.
I love our new podcast intro, don't you, Billy?
Yeah, it actually sounds like it's pretty badass, not going to lie. My question is, how many times did you have to do that take?
It actually only took 2. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it was quick. It was easy. I liked it. But yeah, it's definitely better than I had nothing against the Coin Bros and what they put out there, but and their songs, which are great, but yeah, kind of something a little unique to us. So
it's nice to switch it up too.
Yeah, it's a good change of pace.
Fresh.
Yeah,
it reminds me of. Did you ever see that movie Drive? Not to get off topic here, but
yeah.
So like the whole kind of like the soundtrack behind it's kind of like 80s retro sounding, like electronic kind of. Mm-hmm. That's what it reminds me of. In like a really good way. Like it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I like it. Definitely unique to us. But so last podcast we were talking about Verge a bit, and it's April 11th, and the big announcement's supposed to be April 16th for Verge.
That's right. Yeah, I mean it's still climbing. I haven't jumped in. It's a little bit too high for me. Just the chart kind of scares me a little bit.
I jumped in the other day and did a little bit of the scalping that we're playing around with now. That's been our fun thing lately.
Yeah, no, I think it's definitely a good candidate for scalping, just because there's so much volatility right now. Everybody jumping in and out. I mean, it's a scalper's wet dream.
Exactly.
Strong upward trend. You can jump in and out of that thing multiple times a day for 1%, 2%.
Yeah, and if the people that are listening don't know what scalping is, it's something that we hadn't done a lot in the past, but we're kind of starting to do a little bit more now. But it's basically you get in and you get out quick and generate, 1, 2, 3% return on something, and then get out of it. So, and it's funny, like you look at something like, let's say something's 1,000 satoshis, a 1% return on that is only 10 satoshis. It's only 20 satoshis for 2%, and you're making a little bit of money there. So it's definitely a smart move.
Yeah, and the whole thing, I mean, scalping, it's a little bit more involved. There's a lot more repetitiveness to it. But I don't sleep on the compounding interest. I think we made like an example the other day where you invested $500 and made like 1% per day. You would have this much money after like a month. It's pretty crazy. So if you have the patience for it, it's the way to go. And I'm still playing around with that strategy myself. We kind of mentioned in our last podcast, we were playing around with a couple of data feeds to help us hone in on those certain metrics to get us the best numbers possible, which I'm still playing around with. Actually came across another platform last night that's going to allow us to build a bot to kind of automate those things. So that's in the works. Because the good thing about a bot is it does the work for you, but you have to tell it what to do. So if you're a shitty trader, it's going to make a lot of shitty trades really quickly.
But the one major benefit, though, if you do get it right, is just that it takes the emotion out of everything.
Exactly. If you can get it right, you're going to crush it, obviously.
Yeah.
So still fine-tuning. Stay tuned to that.
What was that? You did the compounding interest, and you took like 2,500, and you said if it did 8% daily for like 6 months, it's like.
Yeah, let me pull that up just to have that number because it's ridiculous.
Isn't it like 2.5 billion or something?
Yeah, let's see. 2,500 at 8% per day. So let's say 1% per hour for 8 hours for your workday. Did that for 6 months. You would have. Drum roll, please. $2.5 billion. Insane.
Yeah,
obviously, that's not as easy as it sounds, but hypothetically, that could happen.
No, but even after, I think it was 2,500, and it was after like 60 days or something, or 90 days at 8% interest, it was like $200 million or something.
Yeah, it was still like retirement level.
Yeah, I hope retirement level was a couple $100 million.
2,500, 8% a day, 8% a day. 2 months would end up being $250K.
That's 2 months, but 3 months is like two point something million, right?
3 months. Yeah, 2.5 mil. That's insane. One more month and it just skyrockets.
Yeah.
It was completely parabolic.
And the kind of the point that we're trying to get to here is that, a lot of people jump into a coin, and they want it to hit, 50, 100, 200% or whatever, and they just sit around and wait on it. And you're going to take some dips during that time frame too. Mm-hmm. With this, you're just in and out, and you're getting these little 2 or 3% returns. And in the time frame that, let's say hypothetically a coin does go up 50% and it takes it a week or two to do that. I don't know. In that time frame, you probably could have scalped it for, 200%, if you really messed around with it.
You could have a position in there long term, then you could also have a little piece of the pie that's coming in and out of various things. But I mean, that's a 101,000% return in 3 months.
That's crazy.
Patience, man.
And if you don't want to do this on your own, we talked about this. We actually had a special guest on a couple weeks ago from Taylor. It was an ICO. Mm-hmm. They're actually coming out here soon with the full-on app, but the app will actually suggest scalp trades to you, and then you can go through with them or not. It's going to be linked in with Bittrex. So there are apps out there that are coming that can do this for you. We're just kind of doing it on our own right now, just testing out the whole setup.
Exactly. It's a whole new world.
So jumping back into Verge, dude, I was reading this article earlier, and April 16th is where they're supposed to announce their big partner, and all the speculation this article that I read was talking about their big partners, most likely Token Pay, the company that contributed the majority to their crowd fund.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like 80% or something.
Yeah. And it was saying that they actually, so Token Pay and Verge apparently had and I'm doing air quotes right now, a meeting in Munich with a German bank. So the talk is that there's going to be potentially Verge and Token Pay debit cards coming out.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also find the timing interesting too, because the 17th is the last day for taxes. Not that means anything necessarily, but I thought that was just an interesting coincidence.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to throw shade on them or anything, but I don't know if the team from Verge is smart. Everything that I see, it's just random the way they do it. Why do you need to crowdfund to announce a partner? A partnership like that.
Yeah, I don't understand that.
Yeah.
It's making me think it's, a little shady.
And here they are having meetings with a German bank, but yet the lead developer did a video from his living room with, a couch behind him and everything. Come on. I'm not.
Yeah.
This is just my own speculation here, but.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he's really just all about the people. Going on anybody's podcast.
So, yeah, I don't know. Kind of the main topics that I wanted to kind of cover today that I came across, were really revolving, kind of along the same lines of this whole Verge debit card. So, you may have heard about this a couple weeks ago, but did you see where JP Morgan Chase and a couple other companies started charging extra fees for cash advances for cryptocurrency purchases rather than just the normal credit card purchases?
I actually just came across a headline today about that. I haven't jumped into it though. I don't know much about it besides just that headline.
It might be the same one that I'm talking about. I read this article. So there's actually a lawsuit now out against JP Morgan because this one guy, and his name is Brady Tucker out of Idaho. He bought some cryptocurrency on his Chase card, and they hit him after the fact with $143 in fees and $21 in interest charges on it. And this was after the fact, so they changed this after he made the purchase. And then he called in and complained, and they wouldn't remove it or anything. So they're saying that this actually violates the Truth in Lending Act, which requires credit card issuers to notify you in writing of any changes to your terms.
Yeah, that's super shady.
Yeah.
Like, you would think these banks would just wise up and be like, basically find their way into the crypto market somehow. Like, you aren't going to stop this wave. It's a tidal wave. Nobody's going to stop it.
Well, I mean, I think their whole logic behind it, from what I read in this article, is that, Bitcoin dropped from 20K a coin back in December to in early January, half the price. And these people were making these purchases on their credit cards, and it wasn't worth that much anymore. So Chase was thinking, well, how the hell are we going to get paid back if they don't have this money?
Yeah.
But why are they even worrying? Well, I guess I understand why they're worried about that. I mean,
that's why you have debt collectors and everything else. Like, I mean, for me, it seems very obvious. They're trying to halt this thing however they can.
Yeah.
Instead of playing nicely and realizing that this is a big movement and they can attach themselves somehow. But I don't know. It kind of reminds me of some things that I've been noticing lately. There's a lot of old money jumping into crypto, like the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds. Like, these are old money, like bank names.
Well, who doesn't know Rockefeller or Rothschild names?
Exactly. So if you know those names, which you should be very excited about the fact that they're jumping into the game now. Like they're, venture funds and basically people that run their investments have just gotten approval lately to be able to jump in and start buying.
Well, we were talking about this the other day about like George Soros getting into it as well.
Oh yeah, and so in January at the World Economic Forum, he was calling Bitcoin a bubble, just a typical bubble. It's going to break, blah blah blah, and here we are a couple months later. Well, it's not that bad. like fuck you, dude.
Well, I guess if he can make his money,
exactly.
Doesn't bother me when that kind of money gets into it. No. I want that money into it.
Well, if you think about like what the average return is for like a hedge fund, like he's a hedge fund guy. The kind of returns those traditional guys are making versus what the average crypto portfolio is making, like in a year, it's absurd. Like it was something like the traditional hedge fund returns about like 9% per year. Crypto, on the other hand, is like 2,700%. So obviously they're going to start dipping their toes in.
They're going to take all the money from us. None of us are going to have money anymore.
Damn it. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's funny talking about this, like, talking about the credit card companies and stuff, and talking about this old money, and how credit card companies are, trying to stop, this from basically the surge from happening. I was reading about where in Canada they did the same thing. So like a bunch of banks in Canada don't even allow you to make cryptocurrency purchases anymore. But the funny part about it is like there's a platform called Local Bitcoins. I don't know if anybody's ever used it that's listening, but it's just peer-to-peer sales of Bitcoin. So when that happened in Canada, the trade activity on Local Bitcoins went from 1.2 million in trades to 7.2 million over the course of 3 weeks. So it jumped that much. So it's like, if you're going to shut it down or do something, in this one way, you don't want people to get in, they're going to find a way to get in. Like,
yeah, I think that's just,
they just need to get their shit together and bring it mainstream. It's going mainstream. I mean, come on.
If you can't see the trend, you deserve to lose. That's just the way it goes. I mean, the world's always evolving. This is the newest wave. I don't know. I'm buckled in, man.
Yeah, well, you've been doing your big thing this past week has been, besides the scalping, is how well the masternodes that we've been talking about have been doing.
Oh yeah, no, dude, Gencoin's crushing it. I'm like, man, do I actually need a job? Like I got so many of these bad boys rolling now. It's like, man, it's like collecting checks, like daily checks. Not a check though, because that's old school. Yeah, Gencoin
I actually just bought a new thing of checks the other day.
Like an actual book of checks.
Yeah, so I set up my my current bank account 15 years ago when I was in the Navy, and they give you like some starter checks, like 300 or 100 starter checks.
Right.
I literally 15 years just ran out of those starter checks because I write like 2 or 3 a year, and I had to actually go on and order another book.
Nice. I'm not gonna lie. I think I've probably written a check 5 times in my life, and I actually had to borrow one from my girlfriend last week when I was going to get my passport renewed. You have to use a check to pay him. I was like, I don't even have a check. Like, what do you even do in that scenario?
I guess you go and get. You could probably go get a money order.
Yeah, you could do like a cashier's check or something, I guess.
Yeah, but still,
anybody got time for that?
I mean, it's like I had to pay money for these pieces of paper that I'm going to use to spend my money with. Like it's the dumbest thing in the world. It's like I saw the other day a meme. It was so funny. It was like, "What are you mad at?" And and the comment was the fact that we have to pay for trash bags when we're just going to throw them away anyway.
Yeah, it's like what? Hey, that's just something else. The blockchain's going to solve.
Oh, trash bags.
Trash bag ICO.
That is hilarious, though. You never thought about it though. That you got to pay for trash bags. You just throw them away.
Yeah. Like, can I just? Yeah, it's super interesting too. Maybe there's something there. It's a thought for another time.
So, kind of along those same lines, you talk about like these venture funds and stuff, and money getting into it. Do you see what Ripple's doing?
No. What's going on there?
So I'm actually pretty excited about this, and you and I are always coming up with these ideas and things to do. So might lean a little towards Ripple, even though I threw a little shade at them last podcast. So Ripple just is investing $25 million in XRP into a blockchain-focused fund, and the whole thing behind it is that they want to find like the next Uber or the next insert app startup Silicon Valley company here that will utilize XRP in some way. So the kind of analogy that they said here was that when you got your first iPhone, you didn't know that was going to be the platform that you were going to use an app that did away with taxis, or that had an app on it that competed with Kodak, like Instagram, or things like that. So like they don't even know everything that XRP can do or be used for. They want developers to come on and build things on top of it that utilize an XRP, and they're willing to fund it.
Really smart.
Oh yeah. And it's crazy. It said it would take them. It said even if Ripple quadrupled the amount they invested, which is $25 million, by this dude's estimates, it would take them 150 years to give away 200 million of XRP a year.
That's insane.
Yeah. So that's definitely something to look into if you're looking at some of these blockchains. If you're a developer out there or looking at building something, look into Ripple. I mean, they're the fund that was started by this company called Blockchain Capital, and they're trying to give away 25 million right there to people that want to build on XRP. It's pretty awesome.
Nice. Yeah, there's just so much happening that's making me even more bullish on the market, especially this year. I know we talk about that like every podcast about like kind of the current state, what the chart's looking like. And I'm still holding down my previous thesis. We're making that bottom of the teacup or the cup and handle pattern. Man, I feel so strongly that right around the summertime, we're going to be sitting pretty. One reason I say that is because I came across this announcement the other day about Gemini. Mm-hmm. Which, the exchange that the Winklevi are that they own. And basically, they are going to start allowing block trading, which basically means it's a way for institutional investors or big money investors to trade off the order book at a specified price. They send the order in, and then it goes to the order book. That way, basically, they can kind of lock in that trade. And so, for me, what I'm seeing is
But hold on, didn't you say that wouldn't report till like an hour later or something?
Right, exactly. Let me see. Looking at the article right now. There's a minimum threshold of 10 Bitcoin or 100 Ether. It's only doing those two for right now. Let's see. It doesn't actually say how long it takes to send it to the order book, but yeah, it is like that, whatever that duration is after the trade has already happened.
So I don't understand that. So like if you place, let's say you buy Bitcoin for, I don't know, $7,000 right now. You buy 100 Bitcoin, so 700K right there. Well, what if in that hour time frame it's now up to 7,500 and it gets sent to the order book? Does that just then hit,
I don't know, man.
it comes in at a lower price like that? Like, how would that affect us as regular traders?
Right.
That's
something that's a little bit above my pay grade.
Yeah, but I mean, you know how like in regular stock trading, like we can trade, normally like 9 to 5 or whatever when the market's open, but there are traders that can trade after hours and stuff. That's what I liked about crypto so much, is that we're not, specified to, or there's not a whole lot of advantages to being this institutional person over just a normal person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally. The whole decentralized thing across the board, like in every sense of the way.
Mm-hmm.
I'm right there with you. And I guess for me, I got excited because this is basically just opening up the floodgate just a little bit more.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think the big thing for us is, and we've talked about this for a while, but is when ETFs come in and all this institutional stuff coming in, I mean, that's just going to open it up for that.
Exactly. There's no doubt in my mind an ETF is going to happen this year.
Yeah.
Just a matter of what month. So, the tide is turning, folks.
Yep. Kind of on a little different topic, but just on the buying topic, I came across there's a actual townhouse in New York City now for sale for crypto. There's 45 million in cryptocurrency. But the funny part is that you can buy it 30 million with fiat. And the reason there's the difference in price is because of volatility. But I don't know. I just don't understand. Why would you give 45 million in crypto when you can buy it for 30 million fiat? Why don't you just cash out 30 million in crypto and pay for it?
Exactly. Yeah, it doesn't make sense to me.
No, but apparently it's some actual, trader, that's doing this. So he's a seed and angel investor. And, he wants either Bitcoin, Ethereum, or Ripple. But like I said, he'll take fiat. But I don't get that. I mean, would you want to buy it and nobody know that you bought it? Is that why you would buy it with crypto? Buy it, not having to pay taxes, I guess? I guess you got to pay a lot of taxes if you cash all that out.
Yeah, that's interesting. I wonder if they pay with a QR code. Is there like a big contract or just like, hey, scan here? Like you're buying a coffee.
Then it's done. You don't need to sign anything. It's just over.
Yeah, yeah. I wonder if there's a whole. That's interesting. I wonder if there's a whole smart contract involved with that. Need to dig in there. I mean, I imagine there would have to be some kind of smart contract or, standard process besides the payment method.
I missed what you said there because I was running to my office door to close it as my dogs go crazy out. Somebody's here.
No, I was just curious. I mean, I want to dig in there and see what's going on behind the scenes. If there's like an actual smart contract or if it's like a standard paper contract that you can use Bitcoin with.
Hey, that might be an opportunity right there to build a smart contract that can, smart contracts that do that for house sales. I've said this so many times in the past, not on our podcast, but just in general life. Like, with all the technology that we have out there now, like, nothing against real estate agents, but why do we need real estate agents? Like, can't we utilize technology and smart contracts and the blockchain and stuff to do the same thing that, that real estate agents do?
Yeah. I think eventually there's going to be some kind of portal that allows you to walk into this house. It identifies that you're one of the people in there. It gives you all the information about schools, the value of the house, how that's changed over a given, length of time. I think it's only a matter of time until there's something that replaces, unfortunately, some of my friends.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. Get down or lay down.
Well, I mean, we talked about this before in the past, but about how, before you use this analogy with me, how, before before cars, there wasn't really restaurants because people didn't drive out to places and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
But after cars being invented, it created auto, mechanics. It did away with blacksmiths that shoed horses and stuff, but it opened up other jobs. So even if it does something like that, then you're just going to need other people to do other things.
Exactly. There's always like that sentiment that, technology is going to take over my job. And, in some slices, that is true. But I think on a macro level, it's just like you said, like that's a microcosm of what always happens.
Exactly.
There's always more opportunity on the macro. Point of the story is, if you see that thing happening, learn a new skill. Like Gary Vee says, suck it up.
I mean, I know somebody that could use some extra help right now if you're looking for a job. Just head on over to Bittrex, because when they reopened their registrations yesterday,
oh yeah,
in like a couple hours, they were so backed up that
dude, people have been waiting months to sign in and register on Bittrex, and as soon as they open it, like, oh yeah, we're clogged up again.
And they got a new UI too at the same time.
And a new UI, yeah. They, I see what they're trying to do, but it's not working out so well.
It's funny. I checked into Bittrex and 2 hours, and it was the old UI. I checked in 2 hours later, and it was something brand new. I actually thought I was on a scam website or something.
Check the URL.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. I like my old Craigslist version of Bittrex better.
Yeah, man. I had used that old Bittrex interface for 4 years. Then I refreshed, and I was like, oh shit. I don't know. In some ways, I like it, but still trying to get used to it.
Yeah, it was funny when I tried to place my first order. I didn't even know where where the order went and what value, what field or whatever.
Right.
Because I was trying to do a limit, and it was it doesn't really explain it to you that well like it did before. But
yeah, I wonder if they had an alpha invading test on there.
Well, that's all I got for today. What about you, Billy?
Yeah, man, I think that's all I have. Keep it short and sweet.
Cool. We'll close this podcast out. Have a good one, everybody. Check us out next week.
Later, guys.
Later.
Peace.